Isn't that pretty? Hi guys, it's Amazing Purple Girl here with another demo from Steam Next Fest. This time it's Carnival. So, I don't know much about this, but let's get going. The water was brackish, cold as the grave. There was nothing in the distance, no visual marker to give me any idea of the scale of the gentle waves that surrounded me. What will you eat? Who's there? What will you eat? Show yourself. What will you eat? Oh, we're on a train. The dream was gone as quickly as it had come. The lagoon slid past, its swirling waters no doubt influencing my sleep. My destination, Venice, lay ahead. The lights of the city twinkled like pearl, a tiara nestled over black velvet. It was a strange and unique city, as everyone knew, but laid out as it was against the oppressive clouds, it reminded me less of a metropolis and more of a gargantuan creature surfacing from the depths, casting about itself with a multitude of tiny glittering eyes. Charlotte's letter still lay on my lap. I do not wish to hurt you, but I must look to the future rather than the past. The world is changing and the spirit of it has embraced me. No more today. February 13th, 1933. Left to interact, right to examine, click on the book or press escape for options. Okay. The platform was relatively quiet. It would have no doubt been different if the famous Venetian Carnival hadn't been banned by Mussolini when he had consolidated power. It traditionally started in February, ending on Shrove Tuesday. Even though the tradition had already been dealt a blow when the Austrian king outlawed the celebration and masks in 1797, it had still been there below the surface, bubbling up within the 19th century in private engagements and artistic communes, and had apparently been a fascinating glimpse into the Middle Ages and Baroque Renaissance. Now Venetian masks were simply decoration, a historical curiosity. There were still celebrations of a sort within Italy, but they had a sour edge to them, such as the distinctly anti-Slavic Festa del Tre Marie, which had become little more than a mishmash of an ancient tradition and current political thinking, all seen through the skewed lens of Mussolini's National Fascist Party. All very interesting, but for me there was a different story to write. First things first, I needed to call my contact, then I could get to work. I picked up the flyer. Okay. Public telephone, I guess. I called the number I had been given. I liked the sound effect of the dialing. There was no answer. I slammed the phone into its receiver and ground my teeth. Perhaps the man had already set off, or was simply running late. Or perhaps the contact was another charlatan. At least the fool in Rome had shown up. I decided to exit the station and take in some of the sights while I was waiting. Exit the station. I'm sorry, sir. I need to see your ticket before you leave the platform. Well, that makes sense. Oh, where is my ticket? My documents had been stuck together somehow, as if they had got wet. How had this happened? Oh yeah, you were in the water in your dream. I needed to pull the papers apart carefully with something sharp. I didn't want any of them damaged. Okay, so we can't leave yet. Talk to this guy. I think he's got a knife. May I borrow your knife? As long as you take the blade to the station master. I can't stand his attitude. I can't. Relax, signor. I'm joking. He's Italian. Not in my voice. I'll stab him myself later. Ha! Great. I have a knife. I'm new to the city. Do you have any sightseeing recommendations? You should visit the Piazza San Marco. It is the heart of Venice. But to be honest, the whole city is beautiful. Even I can appreciate it. He spat on the ground and wiped his nose on his sleeve. I tried to hide my disgust. Thank you. I appreciate the advice. Have a good day. Thank you. I hope I will. Right, so we need to use the knife. I teased the papers apart and thankfully they were undamaged. So, train ticket to the station master. Oh, very good, sir. Please enjoy your time in Venice. Thank you, I will. Oh, I had no further need of the knife, so I gave it back to its owner. Yeah, I forgot to do that. Thank you, Signor. Enjoy Venice. Yes, I will. Ah, Venice. Exit to city, I guess. Never been to Venice. I have been to Italy, but not Venice. Been to Tuscany. There was no need to rip it off even more. It was the remains of a torn poster proclaiming, "Remember the Biennio Rosso." That was reference to the Red Biennium, a 2-year period of labour militancy in 1990 to 1920 in Italy, when workers buoyed by communist ideals took part in strikes, rural uprisings and factory occupations. Oh, it's a mannequin. What a scary mask. The mannequin was huge, around 6.5 feet tall. The mask was imposing. The eyes were inky caverns. Was the mannequin covered in black cloth? Signor? Signor Maynard? The man's voice was a cracked baritone. Okay. His face glowed in the light from the shop front. A good journey. Indeed, although the train arrived late, 10 minutes. Is that so? I expect it was only you that noticed. I would hope not. You must be Signor Notaro. It's a pleasure to meet you. Likewise, Signor. Please call me Arduino. Come, my house is not far. You do not even have to cross the Grand Canal. Well, I say my house as if I am the owner, but there are others there. It is an apartamento, you know. He seemed to possess a nervous energy that stood on the edge between excitement and panic. The streets seemed quiet. Yes, but the edges are quieter. The heart beats loudest in the centre, yes? I suppose. This mask is curious, very distinctive. Ah yes, the Balta, the oldest of the Venetian masks. From last century? Ha! Try the 13th century, Signor Maynard. The Balta proper is actually the hood. The mask itself is simply called the face. Fascinating. Come, there will be time enough to browse the mask shops tomorrow. Let's head back before it gets dark. Let's go. Excellent. Onwards. It is here, the red door, Senor Maynard. The 4-storey set of apartments was precariously leaning to the right, to the extent that it was almost touching the next building. And your apartment is on the ground floor, Mr. Maynard. No need to worry. In any case, the leaning of the building is not so noticeable inside, I assure you. The magic of Venice. My head swam as I looked up at the teetering building. Arduino looked me in the eyes. I think you need a rest, my friend. Yes. The room was warm enough, well insulated from the cold. I felt my eyes drifting again, the eyelids closing ever slower. I needed to rest. But only for a moment. The chair would be better. All right. I thought to bed. Perhaps all I needed was a sit down. Maybe then... Whoops. Bed would have been better. I awoke in an unfamiliar room. This didn't alarm me. My condition often led to a difficulty with short-term memory after a moment. I just needed to orient myself. I found a note in my pocket. Yes, I think I was headed to Venice. There was a story. But who was I here to meet? I couldn't see in the gloom. I needed some light. I see. This is curious. It was a battered old metal dustbin. The door was... Door? That's not a door. The drawer was slightly ajar. The drawer was filled with knickknacks and also a small matchbook. I decided to take the matches. They could be useful. Okay. But I don't think I have anything I can light. Ah, candle. Oh. With the candle lit, I could now see the note in my pocket. A game would help, it always did. The mental exercise would drag my memories back into focus. The name was Italian, but what was the name's origin? Okay. I've forgotten what his surname is. It's Arduino. Oh, yeah, Arduino Notaro, that's it. And what did the name mean in Italian? Not, I would have thought. Oh no, maybe not. Notary? Maybe notary. Oh, yes, of course. Notary and notaro were both from a classic Latin root, notarius, from nota, meaning mark or sign. I felt my memories seeping back. Yes, I had met Arduino. This was his house, a quaint apartmento on the outer edge of Venice. I would have a busy day tomorrow. I needed to get some sleep. Oh, that's a really interesting mechanic. It seemed that was all I did recently. February 14th, 1933. St. Valentine's Day. A good sleep? Yes, as good as can be expected. I'm sorry, your meaning. Was the bed not good? Oh, the bed was quite comfortable. I have a condition, narcolepsy. I'm sorry, I do not know this. A sleeping condition. You may find I drift off when we're talking from time to time. I get it. Drift? Like water? No, I may lose concentration. Please, just say my name and I should come back. As you wish. You can speak in Italian if you wish. I can understand most words. Only you, mate, not me. Nonsense. I welcome a chance to speak English again. It's good to stretch the mind. You like cream in the coffee? I'm sorry, I couldn't get any English tea. No cream, thank you. To tell you the truth, I've never been a fan of tea. Oh, same here. Oh, okay, you're lying, but I'm telling the truth. It was a white lie, but I was hoping that I could find a way to relax the man. His hand had shook as he had poured the coffee, and the smile he was wearing seemed more of a rictus than actual contentedness. Quite a selection of food. Is this a normal Venetian fare? I found myself arranging the cutlery into lines as I did at home. I slid my hand back onto my leg to try and halt the action. I had always infuriated Charlotte, along with many of my other habits. Plucking wayward hairs and eyelashes, checking the time at regular intervals, fastidious neatness, and the criticism of her that came with it. She had tolerated it all, to an extent, but nothing lasted forever. It's probably more extravagant than most, but food is my passion. I like to try these new things, change my routine. Some of these meats are imported, salted in Bavaria. We have there is a man who lives on the top floor, a retired military man from the, Schwarz, the Black Forest, yes. It looks excellent. Won't you try some? I'm never especially hungry in the morning. Ah, I see. He sighed, looking into the middle distance for a moment before taking a deep breath and turning his attention back to me. So, let us talk about Venice. You are here because of the new road, see? I must say, it will be hard to spend a lot of time with the people over the next few days. It is a busy time. I explained as much to the man, Signor Dawson. He insisted though, so here you are. Here I am. I lifted my coffee cup in salute. Arduino didn't return the gesture, instead looking me in the eye. You don't have to stay, you know. Part of a smile still lingered, though it was visibly cracking. I hope this is not an inconvenience. No, of course not. You're welcome for as long as you wish to remain. Excellent. I was wondering if I could start my story with interviewing you. Shall we get the ball rolling? Ball? Sorry, it's a British saying. It simply means getting started. Ah, I have not heard of this. Of course, my friend, ask your questions. Very well. Have you lived in Venice all of your life? From first breath, Signor Maynard. You won't find a more devoted Venetian in the city. I see, and has the city changed much in your time here? Changed? In what way? Well, the most obvious example would be the regime change. Mussolini is, in some people's eyes, quite the forward thinker. Others call him a despot. Surely the change in government has been felt here. Venice will always be Venice. I cannot speak for the rest of Italy, but there are certain things about Venice that will never change. Such as the water. Venetians are born above the waves. It's in our blood. We also value life. We celebrate. We know how to enjoy. These things are important, no matter what Il Doge may say. How does Venice compare in your eyes to the rest of Italy? I wouldn't know. I have never left. You've never left the Veneto region, or Venice? I have never left the lagoon. Interesting. Why is that? The man smiled widely. Why would I? What is out there that isn't here? Italy is a wonderful country. Surely it is a privilege to live in such a vibrant place. I am privileged to be Venetian, not Italian. The man pursed his lips tightly. You clearly have pride in your heritage. Just so. What is your reaction to the road bridge that will be completed next year linking Venice to Mestre? I hope I said that right. I do not like the idea. He sniffed. Getting detailed answers out of the man was difficult. Why is that? Because change is not necessary. But surely the economic benefits are a strong argument for the road bridge being the future of the city? Mr. Maynard, please don't take my words in the wrong manner. His style of speaking English was precise, but some of his sentences seemed alien in their formation. I am no fool. I can see the reasoning for roads and money. I am sure that some of the younger Venetians would appreciate the idea, but I simply do not want the change. That is as simple as I can state it. If you dilute a fine wine with water, it becomes lost. Sometimes being contained is a blessing. Mussolini can go to hell. A risky sentiment in these times, but perhaps Arduino was too old to care. Arduino leaned back in his seat and sighed, suddenly seeming a lot older than he had before. His final words had provided an obvious end to the conversation and an end to the questions. Eventually the Venetian reached for his breakfast again and began to eat listlessly, carrying a shadow of his former energy. Outside, the wind carried a lashing of raindrops against the glass. I could hear the man's teeth as they bit their way through bread and fruit. The silence soon became too much for me. This man, the German, you said he lives on the top floor? Si, Signor Weber. You wish to speak with him? Yes, I am here to get the opinions of Venetians, but I would be very interested in seeing an outsider's view also. It would provide an interesting contrast to the piece. As you wish. I'm sure he will welcome a guest. Thank you, and of course I wish to hear your own views again, perhaps on another day. I'm sure the paper chose wisely when they contacted you. They did. I know everything about Venice. Thank you. You are welcome, my friend. I hope you have a good day. My host used his fork to push a large piece of bacon into his waiting mouth. His teeth bore down. Arduino said that Herr Weber lived on the top floor. It was early, but perhaps he would be up. It was worth a try. I mean, he's German, so yes, he probably will be. To the first floor. To the second floor. To the top floor. Just don't fall asleep walking them steps. Apartment door. I'm not doing a German accent either. It seemed that Weber was too engrossed in his music to hear the door. Perhaps it would take something even louder than his piano to shake him from his reverie. I need to find something. I don't think I have anything. Set a fire, that'll do it. I took one of the roses. Okay, I have a rose. There was no answer. I thought that was my room. Oh, right. That's my room. Is there anything... Oh, the dustpan? Yeah, that would make a noise, I think. I picked up the metal dustpan. It doesn't look like... Oh, no, you can though. Oh, I don't know. My coat and hat. Right, I just wonder if I just use the dustpan against the door. Would that work? Oh, hang on. Wait a minute before I do that. Is there anything in there? Ah, walking stick. Ah. Right, let's try that. The walking stick was well used but sturdy. Yeah, that might work. Either that with the dustpan or that with the door. Okay, so let's use the walking stick with the door. That won't do anything. Okay, how about with the dustpan? Yep. Was ist das? Ein Minuten bitte. I'm not doing it. I heard the scrape of a chair and then... Weber was a tall man with a neatly sculpted beard and moustache, long ago given over to grey, wearing thinly rimmed gold spectacles over his watery eyes. He was wearing a simple white shirt over grey trousers held up with suspenders, with carefully polished shoes. The sky outside was still choked with clouds, but a white glare of sunlight was able to force its way through, bleeding the colour from the surroundings. "Can I help you?" He was speaking in English with a thick German accent. No, he really wasn't. From a region I couldn't place, but then I was no expert on Germany. "I hope so. I'm looking for an opinion on... I'm sorry. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is James Maynard. I'm a journalist. I'm writing a story on Venice, and I was wondering if you'd be able to, or would like, to answer a few questions about your view on the city and the proposed road." "A newspaper?" "Yes, the Illustrated London News. It's quite prestigious." "I have not heard of it." The man's features were inscrutable. I tried to break the ice. "You were a military man, yes?" Why do you say that?" "Your bearing, and those shoes, polished to a brilliant shine." "You're a clever man. Yes, I was a soldier when I was young, and I volunteered in Der Weltkrieg. I was a staff officer in the 1st Royal Bavarian Corps." "Perhaps I fought against you on the Western Front, eh?" "No, not at all. I was still a child then." Of course. "That piano must have been difficult to get up all of those stairs." "Yes, I hired some help, of course. Please don't touch. I can't stand fingerprints." "How long have you been playing?" "Longer than I was in the military. Perhaps I will let you see which of my skills is strongest, yeah?" What? I mean, I will play you something. Perhaps my meaning was not plain. I am too old to be picking fights. But anyway, I am sure you're not here to listen to me play Die Zauberflöte. What did you want to know?" "I'm sure you are aware of the road bridge connecting Venice to the mainland and the fact it will soon be completed?" "I am aware of the building work, but I had no idea when it would be finished. I don't read the papers. I prefer military history. Is the railway not enough?" "Some would say so. I was told before I set out that some within the city even see the rail as being too much. They wish for a return to the past. Venice for the Venetians, that sort of thing." He nodded, but I couldn't be sure if it was a sign of agreement or simply an acknowledgement of the fact. "If I might ask, how do you see the city? Why did you decide to move here? Was its history a factor?" "History is always a factor. The past is, what is the word? Paramount." "I agree. Details are everything. Without the past, how can we know where we truly are?" "Precisely." "What was it about Venice that drew you to it?" "Well, it is beautiful. Any fool can see that. Beautiful and alive." "I see." "I don't think you do. Come, join me on the balcony. Tell me what the city looks like to you, and we will see if you understand." "Very well." The vista that greeted him was the first real view he had seen of the city. It's set for him photographs. Houses and shops seemed to run together, red-tiled roofs and cramped alleyways bisecting each other at seemingly random junctures, and the minuscule shapes of the city's inhabitants scurried throughout the structure like termites. It was a tangled labyrinth of pale brick buildings and green-tinted waters. I see houses, streets, shops and people. It looks disorderly. Wonderful, but disorderly nonetheless. It is much more. It is a forest, Maynard. Do you think of forests as disorderly? I'm sorry? Yeah, a forest. The same as the one that covers Württemberg. It is not disorder, you see, but a plan of nature. You cannot judge a city such as this by normal standards. It is unique, built on shifting mud and water. The houses grew. The pathways crawl with shadows and life. There is a creature in every hollow and reasons within every wall. But houses are built, they don't grow. The difference is semantics only. Trees grow towards the light. Their bodies? No, mass. Increases with a clear direction, correct? True, but there is no human decision there. Humanity is not relevant. The separation you see between a forest and Venice is the difference between the conscious and the unconscious, but in truth, there is no such difference here. You can't be saying that it was built accidentally, surely. It was built for a purpose, but an unconscious purpose. It was grown to move towards its own light. It was given direction, a clear Verdammt. I cannot explain as I wish, if only you understood Deutsch. Nevertheless, it is interesting, but maybe not useful right now. I know you have a job to do and guidelines. I of all people can respect that. I will give you more useful words. The old man gave me an opinion and history and stories of his time within Venice. All of it was pertinent and certainly good print, but nothing that he said rang as true as that first exchange. That had been his truth, and the fact of that unsettled me considerably. After an hour, I decided that I had everything I needed, which was a very solid starting point for my piece. Before I left, Weber fixed me with a stare. I should warn you, many Venetians will not be as forthcoming with their opinions as I. As outsiders, we can never hope to fully understand this dark and beautiful place. Be careful. Back to his piano. No, I had already spoken to Arduino. I needed a different view. I could always speak to him at dinner time. Do I go out?
Witch! Little rat! Murderer!
Be off with you. Leave her alone.
Keep away or you'll get the plague from her. She's a witch, a dirty little witch. She killed her own mother when she was born.
Ooh, ouch.
The babao will come and take you away.
The babao? What did he mean? Are you alright? What's your name? Oh, she's off. After staring at me with her chestnut eyes, she disappeared into the shadows. Venetia. I had arranged to meet Don Vincenzo Conti, priest and expert on local history, at the Piazza San Marco. That should be my first destination. Okay, Piazza it is. Oh my lord. The buildings that surrounded me were certainly wrought with an enviable craftsmanship, although the locals seemed blissfully ignorant of the city's majesty as they walked past, heads down, contained within their own lives. It was as if the crenellations, arches and statues were totems to a god that faded from consciousness. Couples walked hand in hand or gathered in restaurants dining together on the feast of St. Valentine. And all I had was a letter. I put the thought to the back of my mind and concentrated on the present, and the priest sitting before me. I was in a fascinating city, and there was a story to write. All other matters could wait. Thank you for meeting with me, Don Vincenzo. Your Italian is very good. What a lovely surprise. Well, I would hope so after my years in Florence. I must admit, I was surprised that I was given the contact details for a priest. Ah, but what is religious knowledge but simply a knowledge of the past? If you're worried about me seeing the past through a particular lens, then perhaps that will be so. But if that circumstance is known, then you can take what you need from me and discard the rest. A rather mercenary notion. Isn't journalism a mercenary profession? I suppose it is. So, what can I help you with? Honestly, my reason for contacting you was originally more to do with your opinion of the future, and perhaps we will get to this in time. But having been exposed to certain sites, certain opinions, I think that maybe I should look to past somewhat in order to make sense of what could or will be. An astute observation. Was there any particular era that you were interested in? Have you heard of a babao? Of course, it is a fairy story. A creature used to scare children. Is that so? How is it described? He is also called L'Uomo Nero, the Black Man. A tall man with a heavy black coat and a hat. Oh, like the mannequin. The famous Balta. The costume, the face, is based on this. Parents still knock on tables, pretending that he is at the door, searching for disobedient children. There are also nursery rhymes about him taking children away for a year, but I should say not to harm or eat them. Don Vincenzo, but rather to take them to a curious, unknown, terrifying location. Please, Mr. Maynard. What will you eat? I am rude. I did not mean to say it like that. I meant to say, would you like to order dinner, sir? The kitchen is about to close. Okay, so he's fallen asleep, but why has the priest disappeared? I stared at the waiter. The square was empty. I am practicing my English. I heard you speaking to yourself. How long have I been here? I started around an hour ago and you were here. No one else? No. Should there be? Are you waiting for someone? No. Are you alright, sir? I have to go. Oh dear. Mr. Maynard, what's going on with you? The sound of the water lapping at the stonework made my head swim. What had begun as an interesting opportunity was quickly unravelling. My vision of the masked man at the piazza pointed to my condition worsening, but what if it wasn't? One thing was certain, there was far more than met the eye within this city. There were ripples beneath the surface of Venice. Is that the end of the demo? Yep. Thank you for playing the Carnival demo by Beyond Booleans. If you've enjoyed this demo, please consider wishlisting it on Steam. It raises the profile of the game and and helps support something or other. Hopefully you'll have read that. You can rewind and read that. I really enjoyed that. A lot of reading for me, but obviously, if you're just playing a game, then you're not going to be reading it out loud, you're just reading it in your head. So I I found it really intriguing. What was going on? Why was the priest never there? That is just bizarre. So did he dream the whole encounter? Because he went there to meet the priest, so surely he was there. I don't know, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's definitely one for the wish list. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you for watching. I will be back with more demos.